First game going over to the Kimchi jjigae. Second game, though. Does Villager OP look to even up this series? That is going to be the big question.
Yeah, Jinmo and SortOf jumping in the mix and both taking HRE here, so be pretty spicy as you see that early hunting cabin going down for the Roos Leenock playing the map. That's what Roosters are good at. I want to see how much gold that makes right at the start once we see that tick in.
The one thing I would note is that we've just got a difference of pockets. So over on the west side, we've got Jinmo, who's in the pocket playing the Holy Roman Empire. But over on the east side, we've got State playing the Malians in the pocket. So does that potentially signal the fact that maybe we see a potential double sling coming out from the Kimchi enjoyers?
I think it really depends on where the aggression comes in, right? I think Roos are going to have a more powerful, like, mid-feudal, whereas Ottomans can present an early feudal pressure, like a Dark Age pressure, effectively, with the early, what's it called? The school of military school, right?
Military school, yeah.
So we'll see how that. I think that's going to be really how this plays out. Is like who can aggress on who, and if the HRE player can go to Castle Age relatively untouched, they can take a little bit of punishment, but if it gets a little too much, doesn't it just slows down and it can get completely halted if they're like pushed off gold, for example, or lose all access to wood. Ooh, a lot of houses are ready for state. I like that.
Yeah, some big numbers coming in. Already 7 houses, so one more than you normally see. Normally you're seeing what is it, about 6 that's coming through. But yeah, down on the south side, military school and a barracks opening coming in for Victo. So nice little Dark Age opening here. I'm a big fan of this. My theory is that a military school is nice if you want to be annoying, but if you want to do damage, you're going to need a barracks.
This is where it's going to be tough against Roos. I do think this is tricky. If he can get there before the wooden fortress on the wood line, he'll be okay. But I think that's 3 vills on wood, right? So, or is that 2? I don't know. With that amount of vills on wood, if he gets the fortress up in time, and he can always just chop like a straggler to secure it. That's a really nice Aachen, actually.
Yeah, beautiful Arkans. Arkans are coming in at the moment. Let's go check in over with Jinmo. So he's in the pocket position over on the west side. We can see a little bit of a contest going for the deer, but there we go. So that's the Aachen going to drop down right now. It's probably, yeah, it's not the best Aachen right there. He gets a small woodline gold and the town center, about the best you could ask for. We compare that over to SortOf's one. He's got berries, gold, town center, and the small wood. So definitely a cut above the rest.
You wonder if he's ever going to even touch those berries, though. If the sling works,
right?
Then you don't ever want to go to berries, right? The whole point of it is cattle have a much faster gather rate, so you want to put as many vills as possible on the cattle, right? And ooh, the trade network coming in for state, right? Yeah, state going trade network is really spicy. The tower going up, a lot of times we see that go up on the pit mine because it adds some protection and then gives you that late game trade. Yeah, so it's right there. It gives you some protection against the aggression and then gives you that late game trade, but like no trade posts. I don't see players trade a lot on this map as it's very quick. This is a very aggressive game.
The one game I watched on this map there, I saw 100 traders were made for the Malian player. So
oh gosh,
yes,
okay.
my baseline for expectations is we're going to see lots of traders coming out today. But I love the fact that he brought out so many villagers to get this landmark down. And if we look at the positioning of it, a lot of players are going to look at this and think, what's that positioning on the Saharan trade network? You know, if you're doing trade to trade, you know, corner to corner kind of thing, that's not going to get any value out of it. And you're exactly right. It's not going to get any value from the landmark itself. The real value here is the bonus it provides to the other toll outposts and the defensive bonus. It acts as that barbican, that outpost. And that's what it is. Its main goal is just to protect and to serve.
Now, I do want to highlight that Victo's Spearman Rush, has it done anything?
No,
like,
it didn't.
I've played this opening a lot in team games, and I play it pretty unorthodox, where I actually build the school and the barracks in the middle of the map between my opponents, basically. Like, I would build it kind of here where we're looking right now, effectively, like really proxy for it. And it's not the best idea, but it can catch players off guard. But the thing about his Spearman here is, like, what is this accomplished? I guess he's just trying desperately to get to the HRE at this point. Like, he skipped over his 2 nearby opponents. This is so late. He's not going to really stop the cattle because the gold is guaranteed. A lot of times when you do this rush, you need to get the Spearman on top of the Malian pit mine before the pit mine's like there, before the tower goes up, right? And He didn't do that. He didn't get to the wood line here, I think. And we're just going to see full sling. And I don't know what sort of impact Ottomans have had this game.
At the moment, a very minimal one. But I think it's also important to remember that it's not a huge investment for him, right? Like, he wants to make a military school anyways, so he just gets it out early. That's going to delay him at most 20 seconds in the Dark Age. And when it comes to the barracks, that delays him probably closer to about a minute. But it's still not huge. And we can see he's only just kind of going up slowly with the Twin Minaret Madrasa. So realistically, this doesn't delay him a whole bunch from what his greater plan is. At least that's the way I see it. Because this infrastructure he's going to want to add anyways.
Yeah, like I guess, but like you make this huge investment, like that was a lot. He trained several of those spearmen, and several of them were free. Yeah, sure, but there's also 250 resources, slower on the age up. Not quite, but like you have to mine the stone, so it's like your whole thing is really slowed down. And I don't think he got any value out of this that was meaningful. Maybe he denied a bit of bounty from the Rus. I don't know.
Well,
that's
Victo reaches the feudal age at 6 minutes 30, but. Hold the phone right now because Jinmo is about to reach the castle age at about 6 minutes 40, 6 minutes 45. It's starting to heat up right now.
Oh. There you go. Defending airstrikes, pit mine in the center there from the scouts. And there's the burger for both players. So we're going to see this mirrored aggression, this mirrored gameplay. We see the at this point, the quintessential mill from Malians next to the Aachen. I think we've all seen this enough now. Very strong combo.
Now, Airstrike had a scout over on that east corner, and he was actually targeting down the market of his enemy. So basically letting his enemy know, hey, we are aware that you're thinking about trade. Don't do it. If you do it, we're going to shut it down.
So it's interesting here. Leenock is the one walling in the middle, while a different Civ, the other team is taking it, right? Jinmo is taking the center. Well, Leenock walls him in. So a lot of priority is going to be the one to have the team to wall it and get the timer on your side, because that can just become a good threat later. And we see a lot of games end with this threat. So we'll see how this pans out. It's really important, this micro here. I mean, here, Victo's Spearman actually getting a lot of value, going to help secure this. Really push back any scouts, push back these vills, it can burn the wall. But, I mean, they're not going to get this free reign for long, as we're going to start seeing the man-at-arms come in from both the HRE players.
Yeah, this is beautiful. The way that they're keeping it, the sacred site, just still in limbo. Still yet to be captured at this point in time. But this knight, once this knight's off the site, you're going to have some trouble. You can see how close it is, and there we go. Sacred victory now approaching. All sacred sites have been captured. Well, there's only really one sacred site, isn't there?
Yeah, so 10 minutes on the clock, and we'll see how this pans out, right? The strat at this point is just keep making man-at-arms for HRE and never give up the middle. So we'll probably see a lot of fighting here. There's walls going on the north side for SortOf, which to me kind of indicates that he doesn't even think about going that way right now. He doesn't maybe even want to consider raiding airstrike at the moment. He just wants to focus on the middle. Leenock with some Archer Knight, and we see Metters, Spearman, Spy, he coming out for Victo, who's in feudal age still. Farimba Garrison coming in though.
Yeah, Airstrike looking to age up. Body. So probably going to be, Musafati coming out, and I think as a response to that, you can expect to see both Leenock and Victo start adding in quite a few archers themselves, and the men-at-arm numbers beginning to rise for both of these HRE players.
Yeah, maybe taking a look at the games last night. I mean, Beastie went Farimba into a lot of Musafati, and the map is really open in the center, so you can find a lot of ways to use the stealth and like navigate good fights against these man-at-arm masses. It like kind of counters what the other HRE wants to do, so it's a kind of a natural progression. And we don't see that out of State just yet. He's not even starting to age up, so it could be a while before we see that. The horseman coming in.
Have a look on this south side right here. I mean, we got men-at-arms fighting up against each other in the middle of the map, but just below this, there's an incredibly optimistic wall coming in from Leenock. I don't know exactly what the chances of this wall coming up are, but I'm going to put it in the region of about 0 to 0.1%.
I'm going to say 0%?
Yeah, it looks like we were right. Very ballsy of Leenock, but not today.
Yeah, we'll see how this central fight goes. 8 minutes on the clock still. Vill's going to get poked, and SortOf, I think the numbers here are quite even. Well, actually, SortOf has a lot more units on the map.
Yeah, but we can see Spahi coming in from Victo on the south side, looking to clean it up for him. But Garrison, nowhere to be seen, and it looks like a relic coming up at the moment. Could be potentially be used for a Wallalol here. He's got to watch out for any kind of snipe on that, but moving in onto the sacred site, the Spahi actually going to be finding it. The Wallalol does indeed go down. He falls back, can prevent any kind of aggression onto the sacred site for the moment. Just remember, he's got a second relic there to be used for that Wallalol if he needs it. Could almost look to bait out his enemy.
It's getting fortified fast, right? And this is terrifying, right? You start to see these really cheap HRE emplacements. They have the extra range and vision and a bunch of other stats like armor, I think, on these outposts as well. Going to make this position really tricky, but you know, something that was kind of sneaky in these fights is Jinmo really wanted to add land sharks. Sorry, I call them land sharks. Land schnecht. And the land schnecht got instantly sniped by Leenock's archers, right? With the light armor tag, they just kind of get wrecked by the archers, and that was a really important moment there because SortOf has retained a really large army over his opponent, and now we do see some Malian archers on the side of airstrike. It's a lot of horsemen, a lot of Spahi.
Yeah, Victo's numbers are looking good. I thought that we'd see a castle age coming through sooner from him, and take a look at this. You know, we talked earlier about this scout, and hold on a minute, hold the phone. We've got ourselves a counter wall coming through. Victo says, "You're trying to wall me in? I'm gonna wall you in, buddy." And that forces him now away from that optimal corner position because he wanted to go for that trade along the edge of the map. But when that wall comes in, now all of a sudden, trade is no longer available down towards that corner.
Yeah, the real value of the high trade house going in the corner being you get a ton of surface area against trees. I think yesterday at the end of the stream, there was a 400 gold high trade house, which is a lot of gold every minute. But we'll see. I actually think Kimchi enjoyers are in trouble if they can't mount an offensive in the middle fast, right? Yes. And at this point, it's kind of requiring siege. So I'm getting scared for them because I don't see how they're going to get enough siege out fast enough to really push this position. Like, they need something that kills these towers. If it's kind of underrated, but if Jinmo adds the town center and fortifies these outposts with the stone upgrade, these things are never going down. Not in 5 minutes. Not without a huge amount of rams or a couple trebs pinging away. And I'm getting scared here.
Yeah, it's a good point, and that's part of the reason why we saw him move to the middle to fortify that position as soon as the age up comes through. But now back down to the south side. Let's have a look on board and see if that fight's breaking out at the moment. No, it's just kind of players just minding their own business or testing the waters, sort of poking out feelers. But the men-at-arms running in. Spahi also looking to try and stab in, and the Spahi numbers really starting to build here for Victo. So just when we thought he was going into archers, he switched up. But where are the Malian units in these army compositions? I don't see them at all.
It's the orange archers from airstrike. He's out of the archers.
Oh, right, yes, the orange archers.
And there's
and the Musafati getting pushed back as well. Beautiful micro coming in from Victo. He's looking to that north side, but the men-at-arm numbers still just rolling through. And now the Spahi heading up towards that top side. Relics getting picked up behind this. Still that sacred site counter continuing to fall. And I think they might be in trouble, the Kimchi enjoys.
Yeah, this really brilliant micro. Honestly, from both teams here, this is really beautiful to watch. I mean, the archers have really important jobs here, so like protecting them is really key, right? On one end, Jinmo was trying to add the land snack, and on the other end, State was trying to add the Musafati, and the archers' job were to take those down before they killed the man-at-arm mass, and it worked really well for both teams there. But honestly, Jinmo just has so much, and the archer mass is just so much larger. The Spahi mass is so much larger that Villager OP looked like I don't see them getting dismantled here. Like, I don't see how the middle gets taken in any amount of time. Reinforcements getting picked off. Spahi using the ability to fortitude, I think it's called. Yep. A lot of extra attack speed. So in those moments where they outnumber the opponent, it's just so much damage. And yeah, finally some raids coming in.
Yeah,
middle. 3.5 minutes.
Raid's what you need right now. I feel like the only thing that you really need right now are just battering rams. You know, mangonels maybe to push the issue, but we need battering rams here. Get 3, 4, 5 battering rams out here. Start working down those outposts, because how else do you deal with these outposts in such the short term? If you go for trebuchets, there's a chance that the shots miss. I think they got a 90% hit rate on the outpost, so it's not terrible. But still, I feel like battering rams might be the wise choice. You can get them in a pinch. That is for sure.
I'm not sure it's going to matter. They don't have enough army to win a fight. So like at this point, siege isn't even an option unless it's mangonels to win the fight, right? Like, and I don't see that happening yet. They have no production for that. They don't have the income for that. So we'll see how this goes. This is going to be kind of the last hurrah, I think. We're leading up to that moment at least, and there's just so many units.
Up to the north, traders working their magic already. Airstrike going to be adding it in. Not yet corner to corner, but don't worry, he'll work it through. And on the south side, we see a couple more attacks happening.
It's an interesting addition. I'm not quite sure why he felt the need to add the traders. He's got a lot of them at this point, so it's probably worth it. But I don't even know if they're going to pay off before the timer ends. So I would think the game plan here should be all in the center, and you don't need economy. Like I would almost see like one of the players bringing all their vills to the middle, just to start mining the stone and building like a ton of keeps or something, right? Like if you're gonna win this way, you're gonna win this way, right? I guess they're feeling comfortable with their whole position, so they're not looking to throw the game in case they get, you know, some crazy devastating mangonel shots. Yeah, this is.
I can't help but feel like this siege workshop might be a little bit too late. Because even if this builds instantly and you train a mangonel, it's not going to matter. But let's focus on the fight right now because Men-at-Arms breaking through. Take a look at that. Where's the Wallalols when you need him right now? He's heading towards the sacred site, realizing how important it is. And the surround's actually looking pretty good for the Kimchi enjoyers here. They're going to be looking to hold this position in the central sacred site. Outposts are up in mass. Firing down with the Springald emplacements, and the infantry numbers looking really good here. There are no Wallalols in sight. We see a prelate heading in as well from SortOf. He's looking to take the sacred site, but now finally Victo turns up to the fight, but you're a little bit late, buddy. We needed you a couple minutes ago, if you wouldn't mind. And now brings it in on the backside. Couple of Lance Connects popping out, or rather Men-at-Arms popping out of the outpost. And we hear that 1 minute to go, but still archers standing on top of that sacred site. The Spahi numbers continuing to surround the infantry units here. As long as he's able to hold on, this is going to be a good game. And it looks like the hold will happen.
Yeah, the Riders of Rohan arrived in time. The Spahi taking the engagement, flanking the archers in a really critical way, and they just have so many Spahi here as well. Able to buy time for those Springald outposts to just absolutely dominate the battlefield, and GG's getting called.
GG gets called.
I kind of feel like Kimchi enjoyers did, like they clearly had a plan for the middle, right? Like they sent the villagers to wall it, but the sling, like the build order for Jinmo was just a full minute, I think, ahead of I forget who was on the HRE side. I think it was State, right? Or sort of was HRE. Yeah, sorry. They're just a full minute ahead or something.
Yeah, like it was pretty far ahead. I think he was about 80% up when SortOf dropped his landmark. So yeah, when you consider that you've got pretty much 100% uptime from the landmark, that starts to really add up. But nice little comeback there from Villager OP.